What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. Sports Channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Whew, guys, man, I don't know if it was the win or what it was, but woke up this morning. I dropped my wife off. She's a teacher still, so coming back, man, I got to catch the sunrise. I mean, just the colors. It's like one of the best sunrises I've seen so far this year. It's funny how a victory can change things. It was almost kind of like a flower. Joking. All right, y'all. Look, on that point, right? I mean, so much media attention about a metaphor. The metaphor was awkward as crap. I agree. You could have gone with an oak tree. You could have gone with a lot of things that maybe fit the mold of the metaphor a little better, or fit the atmosphere for the analogy you're making here better. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because we saw the guys come out and fight for the coach. And while, yes, there are some times that Nick says some pretty awkward things, I agree. Look, man, guys, they're buying in. Like, it's you can't deny that. They're clearly buying in, they're clearly fighting. With that said, guys, this was a very impressive victory to me on this, I guess we can call it Overreaction Monday again, because I got a feeling that we're going to have overreactions to the other side this time. It was an impressive victory, guys. If I had come out in the pregame and said that I predict the Eagles running backs they're going to touch the rock 37 times, and in total we're going to have 46 rushing plays, you guys would have been like, man, you've lost your mind. Even I said I think it was Overreaction Monday last week, or I said sometime early last week, I said that I didn't, with Miles Sanders being out, I think 8 to 12 runs for like Boston Scott was where we probably need to be set in on. And he did get 12 carries. I just didn't know that we would also hand Jordan Howard the rock 12 times. Hand, Kenneth Gainwell the rock 13 times. Jalen Reagor got 2 end arounds. You know what I mean? We had some pretty good design stuff for Jalen. Jalen took off and ran a few times when protection broke down, when plays weren't there. I mean, we dominated this team on the ground, which is a good way to dominate any team, because all you guys know that played football, it's bad when you get beat in a shootout, like when teams are just like throwing the ball down the field on you. Of course that's bad. But there's nothing like teams lining up and running you over. There's no feeling in the world that's worse. Well, I won't say that. There's certainly feelings in the world that are worse than that. But from a football perspective, there's no worse sentence than having a team just completely dominate you physically and run you over. And that's what I saw from this Philadelphia Eagles team yesterday. I saw a dominant performance on the ground. I saw the offensive line, go back to the coach and say, like, hey, man, we can push this team. Don't let up on it. We can push this team. Keep going back to the rock. And, some of the things that Nick's talked about, I felt like some of the mantra stuff that he says, I didn't always feel like it was represented necessarily in his game plans and things. So it was like disconnecting from his mantra to the way he approached games. But, a couple of the things that you always hear Nick Sirianni say is that dog mentality stuff. We've heard Jason Kelsey say, like, hungry dogs run faster. Well, we got after it like dogs yesterday. No doubt about it. And then Nick talks about connection. Connection between the coaching staff to the players, right? He talks about connecting with one another. I thought you saw that yesterday on display. I mean, just being honest, guys. Like, the offensive line goes to the head coach and says, yo, we got this. Put this in our hands. We can truck stick these dudes all day. Let's get it. And he connected with the players and he did what they were asking him. So, I mean, I saw those two things definitely, right? Even before the game, guys, I noticed as soon as I kind of could click on and I could get it up, I start watching, and I'm watching the sideline, and Nick Sirianni's going around to Roddy McLeod, and he's going around to the defensive line. He's got Fletch. He's got all these guys. He's dabbing them up. He's talking to them. You could just see, man, like, I could tell from what I saw to open the game that they were going to come out focused. I could see it from the coach reacting to the players on the sideline before Jake Elliott even kicked the ball off. And I was like, okay, like, I feel like this is at least going to be entertaining, and we're going to get a pretty good showing here. Like, I don't know if we're going to win it per se, but I do feel like this game's going to be competitive at least. I didn't think that we were going to walk away with this one. I mean, I definitely felt like the Eagles clearly had the better team. I felt like Detroit was really beat up, and that's a team that you should beat the way we beat them. But to be fair to Detroit, man, they hung in with teams that are far more talented than the Eagles. They've played them down, to the wire, and we just saw this Eagles team really get behind the offensive line and push teams around. We saw the defensive line dominate, guys. Defensively, let's just switch over for a few minutes. Let's talk about the defense, guys. That, look, I'm skeptical to think that's going to go forward, but I'm hopeful. I hope that happens going forward because I saw an aggressive play scheme yesterday. I saw linebackers flowing downhill. Let me just start off by saying, TJ Edwards, thank you for making the point I've been trying to make all offseason. When I went over the coverage grades and I went over all this stuff about the linebackers, and I kept saying that myself, I was never a big TJ Edwards guy, but I'm just reporting what the numbers in the film say, and they say that this guy is better than people are giving him credit for. Everyone says he can't cover, and I do think there is some legitimacy to that this TJ Edwards is not a guy you want manned up. You don't want him necessarily manned up on certain players because he's going to get beat. But I felt like TJ Edwards has a really good feel in zone coverage. He just knows where to be in his depth in zones. I feel like he's one of the few guys that we have that will flow downhill and hit you. I thought we saw the linebackers attacking. Davion Taylor, TJ Edwards, Jannard Avery look like a competent, I'm not saying good, I ain't saying great, I'm just going to go with a competent linebacking core yesterday. And it looked to have made a big difference in this football game, right? Gannon brought pressure. I saw the linebackers. There was even one funny moment to where I think it was Vilma was like criticizing Gannon on on a play, and he was like, "Oh, like, you know what I mean? You can't let off right now. You got to send the linebackers." And like he literally sent Singleton on a blitz. So it was kind of like sometimes I think these guys build a narrative in their head, and whether or not the film's actually reflecting what they're saying, they still go with it. And it's like, what are you looking at? Like he sent actually a blitz there. He wasn't being passive. Defensive line did really good, man. Hey, good to see you, Josh Sweat, because that was one heck of a game. Man, deep reserve guys. Let's just lay this out, guys. The deep reserve guys who ate yesterday, man. Think about this. Milton Williams got in for a sack. Hassan Ridgeway got in for a sack. Teron Jackson got in for a sack. I was talking about all this week where I said, we got to play some of these younger guys, and we need to start building for the future and start seeing if we have pieces on the football team because I'm really concerned about the age and the contracts on the defense going past this season. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Milton Williams. Yes, Milton Williams, I'm not overhyping Milton Williams' performance yesterday. He did the role that we expected the role to be, which is in pass rushing downs, Milton Williams can be pretty good. He's still got a lot to do on the interior on run downs. Either that or you got to move him outside and let him two gap on the outside as a 5-tech or a 4-eye, on rundowns. Yes, there's still work there with Milton Williams, but you could see from a pass rush perspective what he can provide you, right? That move that Teron Jackson got, man, that was impressive, man. I told you guys that, Teron Jackson's second move on film last year was just incredible. And I was saying that, Milton Williams had this great initial pass rush move, and Teron Jackson had this great secondary pass rush move. If you could just take those two guys and make one football player, boy, you'd have a heck of a defensive football player, a heck of a D lineman out there. I thought the defense played, man. How about Avante Maddox, man? Can we get this guy some recognition? That dude needs to be a Pro Bowler. Yo, when the vote opens up, guys, we need to vote Avante Maddox. That young man deserves a Pro Bowl appearance this year because, man, he's playing really well. He is playing so much better than anyone could have projected or predicted. That was such a great play that he made when he knocked the ball loose and gave Slade the touchdown. It was a really good performance from the defense, guys. I said pregame that I was expecting something from the defense. I just felt like they were going to respond. There's just no way you get beat the way they got beat the last couple of weeks, get challenged in press conferences, your coach, get challenged by, players getting challenged, and you don't respond unless you just got no fight left. And I didn't buy that for a second. This team had no fight left. I'm interested to see what happens going forward, guys. Do we keep bringing pressure? Because, look, I think Herbert's a good quarterback, but he's still a young quarterback. Do you bring pressure against that, right? We can say that, look, not every team is going to have the lack of weapons that Detroit did, and that is true. Detroit, outside of Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and a few other guys, Hawkinson, their tight end, they didn't really have a whole lot out there. So, of course, it makes it easy to dial up pressure against them. The Chargers' offense is a lot better. no doubt about it. But I still think you need to dial up pressure here and there. I still think you need to shorten the zones like you did in this game. Bring those safeties, back down to reality. Don't have them playing all the way back in Texas. You got to do those things that we saw, man. You can't let off on that because it worked. Keep shooting those linebackers, man. Don't have those linebackers play so passively. Play them like you did yesterday, and keep T.J. Edwards, keep Davion Taylor, keep Jannard Avery in the game. And how about Sean Bradley on that pass breakup? Sean Bradley, that was a heck of a play, man. It's only one play. I'm not overhyping it, guys, but it was a good play. It was a heck of a pass breakup by Sean Bradley. You got to bring pressure in this game against the Chargers, guys. The other thing is, the Chargers are the 32nd ranked run defense. Hey, man, I'm not saying you can run the ball 46 times against every team. You just can't. I think we can see that you can run the ball over 20 times, though. You can run the ball over 20 times on teams. You got a good enough offensive line to push really bad pass, or really bad run defenses backwards. We had the line to do it. And I think you got to continue, man. How about Jordan Howard bringing attitude, right? How about Boston Scott playing well, man? I thought those two guys did a heck of a job yesterday afternoon. How about Dallas Goedert? How about Nick Sirianni doing, like I said in the pregame, like, hey, man, the offense really needs to run through those running backs, your tight end, and Devontae Smith, and that's the one downside. Devontae Smith, my guy, you got to start securing catches. Not a big deal yet, man. I'm not going to overreact to that, but I do got to bring it up, man. You got to catch the football when it hits your hands, my guy. You're a top 10 pick. You got to clean that up. It ain't time to panic or anything, guys, but that's got to get cleaned up. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention. Leave your comments down below. Hey, man, what a victory, guys. I was really happy with what I saw on the field. It was against a really bad team. There's no doubt about it, but I at least feel like we got a shot going into the Chargers game. I ain't predicting a victory yet or anything like that, guys, but I feel like there's a blueprint at least. We saw a blueprint at least. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.